We had a lovely afternoon yesterday. The the coco van was coco van. I still don't like coco van. Um, it was really nice to be there. Really nice to see our friends again after so long, and it had been as long as we had thought it was. It had been 2.5 years. So we met with them. We ate there. One afternoon, had afternoon tea just before lockdown, and it really is since then. So we've all aged. And I keep looking at people and thinking about, how much older they look and how much they've aged, knowing, or somehow in my head I haven't, and of course I know I have, and we all do. But it's sometimes quite shocking to see someone that you maybe haven't seen for a while and thinking how they've aged. So it was lovely, very lovely. The Bakewell Tart went really well. It wasn't how I would have wanted to have presented it. I had to take it over, as I said, in the mall and on a tray with egg cups holding the foil up, and sort of, gingerly walking in with it with the wind blowing under the foil. But they weren't expecting me to bring anything, because it's not often something I do. But it's nice. What we've had with this family is that we've been given food from them, which is traditionally French, and we've given food to them that's traditionally English. And I can remember times when we've sat here around the table and I've brought the Marmite through, or I can't remember what else. I remember when we were feeding Gail and JP one of the first times, and I'd made a roast dinner and I'd made gravy, and he wanted to know what was in the gravy, and I talked about Marmite, and I think I used Bisto to thicken it, and none of those. And he's a cook, he was a chef, but they're not things that he's familiar with. So there was around the table there was a tasting of the Marmite, and there was it was years ago now, I can't remember, but there was probably the usual, love it or hate it. But we've always done that. So it was really nice to go over with an English cake tart. Clelia had made a cake, which she wasn't happy with anything that she'd made. But then she's 16, and 16-year-olds, that's how they are, isn't it? And JP had made an apple tart, because he'd looked at her cake and thought that won't be enough, not knowing I was coming with this big Bakewell tart. Everybody liked it but me. I was looking forward to tasting it, and I tasted it, but there were two things that were wrong for me, or too much for me. One was the level of sugar. It was just incredibly sugary. And I don't know whether it's because what I taste more nowadays is sugar, salt, and almonds. I've discovered I can taste almonds, because it was a Mary Beth Berry recipe, and there was almond extract in the icing. And if I were to make it again, which I'm very unlikely to, because it is just too sugary. Mark's enjoyed it, and there's another slice left there for him. We bought some back, and there's a slice left for him. But it's just too sugary. I wouldn't make it again. But if I were to make it again, I wouldn't put the almond extract in the icing, because there's almond extract, and the almond extract, it's a teaspoon, but it's really strong. I felt they all enjoyed it, so I'm happy with that. Just as I was about to make this, I got a phone call from Emmaus, and I'm pleased that they phoned, because it's 2 weeks since we called them. So they're going to come next week and pick up our table, which is way too heavy. We can't. We moved it out of here because it's big and it was taking up room, and it's nice to have. I mean, it is a big room. It's nice to have a big room where there is room for seating and a dining table, but this was too big. And for two of us, which most of the year it's just two of us, it just seemed pointless. So it went out into the hallway a couple of years ago now, and I use it to paint on. Oh, that's not very good, is it? Hold on. I could sit closer. That might scare you. I'm going to pause you. I think that's better. in my eye a bit, but not too much. Yeah, too big for us, sitting out there, and I've got my painting stuff on it, but I don't go out and use that enough to. So it's taking up room out there. It's not a room we use, but actually, when they come to do the ceilings and everything, and we have decided we're going to move upstairs, um, that space out there, which will be um, not shuttered off, but we'll put. I don't know whether they would, but we'll certainly put really heavy duty polythene up to block that this room from the hallway, and I think Mark's hoping to have the telly out there. So removing the table will give us room for the telly and our two IKEA chairs that we have. They can sit out there and he can watch telly out there. I don't really watch telly, and I don't sit in the IKEA chairs because I'm too short. So they're those ones, I can't remember what the name of them, really, really popular. Everybody's got them in varying states of upholstery, but they're very popular. They're those bendy wood chairs. But when I get into one of those, I really struggle to get out because my feet aren't on the floor. I hate being short. So yeah, so they're coming for that, and they can take, there's a chest of drawers upstairs they can take from the bathroom, and the 6 chairs that go with the table. And I had found a nice table and chairs in IKEA and in bamboo, so light wood. But then, apart from the dresser that's in here that I've emptied, you can't see it on here. Apart from the dresser, everything else in the room is light wood, and I found that, and I thought, that's really nice. We'll get that, but it's not available. Sorry about the sun. It keeps coming and going. What else? There's something else. Oh yeah, we'd oh, now it's moved again. I got to sit like this with my head on the side. At the beginning of the Toussaint holiday, we'd called the builder who, or not builder, they're not builders, I suppose. The artisan who was gonna do the ceilings, and all of the work, and we heard nothing. And I said to Mark, well, it might be because it's the holidays, it's half term. He's probably in his early 40s and has probably got children. Maybe they'd gone away, so we didn't chase him. And I got Mark to chase him this morning. Mark was a bit reluctant to do that. He said, well, I'll just be leaving another message. I said, but we need to start again, try and get things moving. And he's called us back, and he's going to drop us a Debbie this week. Now, he said that 3 or 4 weeks ago, so if he doesn't drop us a Debbie this week, then we're going to have to find someone else. We're talking to JP yesterday, and he said that it's really hard to find artisans at the moment. So it isn't just us, it's just really hard. And I think so much has changed since COVID, and so much is going on. And I wonder whether, I don't know, it might be that people have changed direction in their lives due to COVID, or people are less pressured since COVID to, maybe they had to, people like him, the artisan, would have had to have adjusted their lifestyle because their income would have suffered potentially. So a lot has changed, and that might be why. I don't know, but let's see what happens. I do hope he comes up with the goods, because I really do want this done before Christmas, preferably, because if this internal stuff is done and we're back to normal by Christmas, I'll be quite happy then. The stuff outside, the shutters, the windows, and we want more loft insulation. That can happen afterwards. There's no rush. But this room and the kitchen really need to be done now. So let's hope we get that done before Christmas. So we had our meal, and the starter was scallops in a sort of a vol au vent. I think he'd made a vol au vent and some scallops, really nice, and the coq au vin, as I said. I still don't like coq au vin. I was quite surprised because it was a cock, and it I didn't recognise the body part. I asked Gail what cut of meat is this. She said, I don't know, it's cock. And I thought, and I know there'll be some of you sniggering, but it is cock here. That's what we call it, COQ. And I'm not gonna worry about what you're thinking. Um, when I was surprised because I struggled to get the meat off it because a cock is quite it's normally an older bird and it's not really tender. It needs a long marinade and a long cooking. Um, so I wasn't getting the meat off very well off the bone. And Mark, I thought, oh, this would be funny because he doesn't like meat that where you have to work hard at it. And I often take meat off the bone for him so that he doesn't waste it because he wastes a lot by not taking it all off the bone. He had seconds, which is like, what the fuck? He had seconds. Yeah, so we had and then Gail's mum and dad came for dessert. Um, and sadly, Gail's dad has got Alzheimer's since we last saw him, and in 2.5 years he's really not the man we knew. And when his wife said to him, "We're going to see Kathy and Mark," he didn't remember us, and I'm not sure. I don't know. I've not had any feedback after that, but I'm not sure whether he actually recognised us when he arrived. And some of the time we were sitting there, he looked really lost, and I just thought, it's horrible. My mum had Alzheimer's. Mark's mum had Alzheimer's. It's just horrible. You lose your ability to read, you lose your ability to communicate well, you sit in a group of people and not knowing what's going on, you lose your words, and it's painful to watch, and must be, and it's I don't know how painful it is to be in there. I think that there's a school of thought that when you do have Alzheimer's, you don't really know about it. But I don't know what Terry Pratchett had, but he knew that he'd got Alzheimer's. So I don't know whether there's a whole thing of denial around Alzheimer's. Um, but he looked lost, and I can remember my mum looking really lost sometimes, and it is really horrible to see. Um, and horrible for the people that are caring for the person with Alzheimer's. It's exhausting and very trying. Apparently he uh, follows her around wanting her attention when she's trying to do stuff, and she has to find him jobs to do. He went off in the car a few weeks back, um, like he would have done normally, to go off and get the baguette, and um, just was gone for hours, and she didn't know where he was, and obviously was very worried. But he's reluctant to take the key off him, and if it were me, I'd be taking the key when he'd got ready for bed and was in bed, and I'd remove the keys and put them somewhere hidden, and if he was looking for the key, I'd look for it with him. But for not for finding it. If I was in this situation with Mark, that's what I'd do. It's so dangerous. He's also got a problem with his eyes, so he doesn't see well. So him out there driving, getting lost, being found by the gendarmes and brought back, or being spotted coming back, and very worrying, really anxious time for everybody. So that was really sad. But it was really nice to reconnect, and I said to Gail, made the Bakewell Tart because we're always eating over here, and I don't feel I can reciprocate nowadays, and I'm never happy about how the house is. It's never up to scratch. It's never up to my standard in terms of not cleanliness, but housework. It looks tidy and clean. I'm not sure. You couldn't eat off the floor. You'd never be able to eat off the floor here. Um, and I said, I don't know what your mum would think. And she said, oh God, my mum wouldn't care. And I thought, this is ridiculous. Not inviting people over because you're worried about what they're going to think or whatever. The other nice thing was that they all commented on how my French had improved. um, because they're quite difficult. They were, I said, Gail's a professor of English, and both her mum and dad were teachers, and so I always feel under the spotlight, with my French. But I was aware that my French had improved. I mean, I was obviously stumbling over stuff, and what was interesting, I was looking for a word, and they all knew I was looking for the word, and I was like, "It's coming, il arrive," and none of them chipped in, which was really important because quite often people will chip in with what they think, and you can't think whilst they're. Mark does it all the time to me deliberately. He's a bastard. I'm trying to think of a word, and he comes in with the stupidest of words, but he's doing it playfully. But no, sometimes people will chip in and it's not the word you want, but they're not giving you any thinking time. And the thing about another language, when you're not fluent, and I'm not fluent, is that you need thinking time. So I need time for it to go in, translate, and come out. I can't just do that. So, but that, yeah, it was good. It was a good day. So, I said to Gail, yeah, you can come over. We'll arrange another time for you to come over. Yeah. Yeah, so that's it really. It was good. A couple of people have asked why I've deleted the I can't remember what I've deleted now or what I haven't, but why I've deleted some of the chateau vlogs or maybe all of them is because I'm bored with it. It's really boring. I don't go and look there anymore because it's just too excruciating. And the comments, but it just invites so much toxicity and so much negativity that I'm not really wanting to do that. I mean, I end up with that when I do political stuff or when I do anything. But when it comes to people that are so angry with you for daring to say anything negative about that place, but they start going through your vlogs, and somebody was going through. Somebody doesn't not on the channel any longer. Commented on another vlog, these doors, oh, ugly doors, and I'm thinking, fuck off. And I'm thinking, I don't like them either, but I've got them, and I'm not going to change them because you don't just change. We don't have the money. We've not had the money to do that sort of thing, and there's nothing wrong with them. They're not pretty, but what? So what was happening was that the angry brigade are going through, picking up bits and pieces from other vlogs and going, oh, don't like that. Oh, look at you, and then the other people like Peggy Sue, who also is no longer allowed on my channel, who obviously watches my stuff, but only comments when she wants to say something negative. So very, very condescending, very, very patronizing, and telling me I should do better. She started off, I think, months ago on my vlog about curiosity. None of us understood what the fuck she was on about, but it was terribly condescending and judgmental. And sadly, I think Peggy Sue is a tattler. And I have called her out on tattle before. Well, she no longer has access to my blog. So I'm getting rid of the toxicity, and that is why I've done what I've done. I can't imagine I'll have anything more to say about the chateau because it's too boring now. So there won't be anything really. There's not going to be any drama. Not anything worth talking about anyway. Brooke had me going yesterday. They did a live chat, the questions and answers, and living in the Loire. And during the live chat, it was absolutely overwhelmed by a troll. So it was, I mean, all of the people in the live chat, or most of the people in the live chat, know that Brooke and Rebecca are who they are, and we were all reporting and they, don't worry, carry on, don't worry, carry on. but he was consumed for probably a good 15 minutes of their vlog, trying to um, outrun the troll. And the troll was probably a bot, which you can't really outrun bots. Um, I messaged Phil and said, because Phil does live chats, and I said, being completely overwhelmed by a troll, what do you do? But he didn't get back to me, but he did eventually, and I emailed and said, this is what you need to do for the future. And I got a text from Brooke saying, oh, that's a really good idea. I didn't think about it, and it's good to know. And I've worked out which chateau hired the troll. And I thought, oh my God, like, what the fuck? And he was kidding, but he got me. I was convinced. I thought, bloody hell. So anyway, yeah, not going to do that. Not going to do any more. If I do, it will because there'll have been some high drama, but it's very unlikely, so don't hang around. If you've subscribed for that, then you can leave now, because I won't be doing it again. And I'm off to the doctor's finally after a 2-week wait this afternoon. So I can't take any more painkillers now, because I need him to see how I am rather than how I am masked with analgesia. So I don't know what he's going to say about my rejigging of my meds. But anyway, that's what I'm going to do. So have a good day. It's Monday. It's keeps getting sunny, and then I've got the light on because it was dark, because we've had rain. Yeah, have a nice day.